Hello, and thank you for attending this talk titled Acute Alcohol Intoxication and Alcohol Expectancy Effects on Women's Memory for Consensual and Non-Consensual Sexual Activity. My name is Laura Stevens, and I would like to thank my collaborators Ben, Lauren, and Heather for all of their help on this project. So this is myself in the image on the screen. I am a first year PhD student at the University of Birmingham, and my main focus in my research is on investigative interviewing and recall and memory for survivors of sexual violence. So the talk today then, I'm going to focus on where this research came from and what the research questions are, a little bit about our methods and a unique hypothetical rape paradigm that we are using, before moving on to what we found and contextualizing that within our discussion. So what was the purpose of this research? Sexual violence is a pertinent global issue, with 1 in 3 women and girls experiencing sexual violence within their lifetime. A survivor's testimonial evidence is crucial in cases of sexual violence, as it can often be the primary source of support for their accusation. Sexual assault frequently coincides with alcohol intoxication, with 80% of victims reporting they were intoxicated during the time of the assault. At trial, it is often contested whether individuals who were alcohol intoxicated at the time of the attack can accurately remember both consensual and non-consensual sexual activity. Therefore, a remaining research question is whether individuals can accurately remember both consensual and non-consensual sexual activity when under the influence of alcohol or expecting to be under the influence of alcohol. The issue of alcohol and memory is commonly contested in real-life cases, such as the high-profile Harvey Weinstein case. Within this case, victims were questioned regarding the role of alcohol in their ability to remember what had happened to them correctly. So why is it important to distinguish between consensual and non-consensual sexual activity? It is important for 2 reasons. Firstly, it is to establish whether a crime took place. And second, it is to inform what charging decision is made, such as whether to charge as assault versus rape, because rape requires penile vaginal contact. So a little bit of background literature. On the one hand, individuals think that alcohol might impair from remembering sexual activities and consent. So alcohol can impair memory consolidation, and perhaps people fill in the blanks of their memories with information from other sources. On the other hand, there is evidence to suggest that women who have consumed alcohol or think they have done so are more likely to attend and better remember information in scenarios that have the potential to lead to sexual aggression. So for our particular piece of research, we collected information from 89 women with a mean age of around 20. And before they took part in the study, they had to provide informed consent, as they were told that the research involved a hypothetical rape scenario in line with BPS ethics. To take part in this study, women had to score less than 11 on the Alcohol Use Disorders Identification Test and not have any health problems, use any prescription drugs that would react with alcohol, and they could not be pregnant. In the current research, we randomly assigned women to consume alcohol or not, and alcohol expectancy was controlled. Women were dosed using standardized procedures to achieve a breath alcohol concentration of 0.08% in the alcohol condition. Women were then presented with a hypothetical dating encounter that led to intimacy with a male partner. Within this hypothetical dating encounter, women were asked to choose whether they wanted to consent to sexual activities or not, including foreplay and intercourse. If they stopped consenting before intercourse, the man in the story raped them. Participants then answered written questions a week later about whether the sexual activities were consensual and the actions of the man during the rape. We then tested whether women who drank alcohol were less able to remember the sexual activities and the man's behaviour in the story, or whether women who expected to consume alcohol remembered the sexual activities and the man's behaviour more accurately. We measured consensual sexual activity, which was scored as whether the participant correctly recalled the sexual activities that they had consented to versus what they did not consent to. This was coded as inaccurate if an individual consented in the scenario and later recalled this as non-consensual, or if an individual did not consent in the scenario and later recalled the action as consensual. We also measured rape behaviour memory, which was whether the participant correctly recalled the perpetrator's behaviours during the described sexual assault. If an individual consented, they were coded as accurate if they stated that this did not occur in the scenario for them because they did not read the rape continuation story. Overall, 83% of participants read the rape continuation scenario, and women who consumed alcohol or expected to consume alcohol were just as likely as their sober counterparts to call it a night within the scenario. Irrespective of beverage and expectancies, there was a significant difference between the ability to recall consensual from non-consensual sexual activity, as depicted under the sex column, from the ability to recall the rapist's actions during the sexual assault. All participants were more accurate in their recall for sexual activity in comparison to the specific behaviours that occurred within the rape scenario. An interaction was found between expectancy and activity type. Individuals who expected to consume alcohol were better able to recall details about the perpetrator's behaviour within the rape scenario in comparison to individuals who expected to consume tonic. Expectancy did not impact how well individuals could recall consensual sexual activity. There were no significant differences in memory accuracy for consensual sexual activity or the specific behaviours of the perpetrator based upon beverage consumption. We also collected individuals' confidence in their recall ability. These graphs are showing confidence accuracy calibration curves as a function of both beverage and alcohol expectancy for details remembered about the perpetrator's actions during the rape. The confidence accuracy relationship was present irrespective of beverage consumption or expectancy. As confidence increased, as did accuracy. However, in all conditions, participants were overconfident in their responses, as shown by the CAC lines being under perfect calibration. Furthermore, these results demonstrate for the first time that female participants who had consumed alcohol or expected to consume alcohol are just as able as sober participants to perceive and remember consensual sexual activity and non-consensual acts carried out by the perpetrator, at least at low levels of alcohol consumption. All women were very good at this. This does not support the account that under the influence of alcohol, women's memories will be weaker and they will come to remember consensual sexual activity as non-consensual. The results in the current study support a hypervigilance account. The results suggest that individuals who expect to consume alcohol in comparison to tonic compensate for increased vulnerability to assault by putting more effort into attending to information about sexual aggression, as they were better able to recall the actions of the perpetrator during the rape. Therefore, at low to moderate levels of intoxication, alcohol does not render testimonial evidence as automatically unreliable, and witnesses should not be treated as such. But all participants, regardless of beverage or expectancy, recalled the perpetrator's actions during the non-consensual activity less accurately, suggesting it was harder to remember the specific actions that occurred during the rape. This was possibly due to the types of questions asked. They were multiple choice closed questions with an option for I don't remember, but this could have possibly encouraged people to guess, and it would have been better to test this with free recall. Or additionally, it could have been to do with the level of trauma associated with these non-consensual actions. There is debate as to whether or not trauma impairs or improves memory for more traumatic actions. So it would be important to repeat this research with more trauma measures to better understand this. The limitations of this study are their applications to real life. Whilst our hypothetical rape scenario was more immersive than mock crime videos, it is still not as traumatic as a real assault that may have differential impacts upon memory. Additionally, our participants were not as alcohol intoxicated as real victims may be in real world scenarios. Future research should investigate the effect of alcohol upon memory for consensual and non-consensual activities at larger doses. However, this is the first step to highlighting that individuals who are alcohol intoxicated can distinguish between consensual and non-consensual activities in recall. With thanks to my collaborators again, and thank you very much for listening. There are my contact details if you have any questions. Thank you.